Hello and welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast Minisodes. My name is Vera and I am joined as always by my two confessed co-hosts, Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Yes, mistress.
That's what I want to hear. Yes, yes. I command you to love me.
I thought you were going to command us to talk about Legend of the Seeker.
That too, yes, please. That's our topic today, isn't it?
It is. This is a minisode suggested to us by two of our patrons. Thank you, patrons. Both Liz and Jess Kaylee have asked for us to talk about Legend of the Seeker.
Mm-hmm. And it sent us to a time and a place in the year 2008, 9, 10, 11.
Very specific.
Very specific.
It wasn't on for that long.
It was only on for 2
years.
years. Yes. But its memory lives on. Yeah, it was one of those shows that got canceled prematurely and had a huge kind of attempt to get it back on the air with SaveOurSeeker.com.
Were you part of that effort, Vera? You were deep in that fandom.
I was, but I wasn't part of that effort.
Vera did
It's your fault.
Yeah. You should have done more, Vera.
Oops. All right, Seeker, as mentioned, was a really fun television program in the...
Oh. We have real fun.
Oh no, Dark and Raw.
He's here.
In the year of our Lord 2008, it premiered. It is sci-fi. No, it's not sci-fi. It's just fantasy. It's pure fucking fantasy.
Pure fucking fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy show, syndicated. Mm-hmm. And based...
Much as Xena was.
Much as Xena was.
Interesting.
Has...
we said 2008, so
2008.
It's been 7 years since Xena ended. Okay.
A lot of familiar leaves and beaches and things.
Why would that be?
Oh, because...
Familiar leaves is a really
familiar
strange way
leaves.
to
If they're in a
describe it.
forest, you're like, oh, I've seen these leaves before.
I know that leaf.
On an episode of Xena.
I know that branch.
Callisto may have rode past them on a horse.
Yeah.
know
Oh,
this
that
pile
sand
of
dune?
sand.
Yeah, that's right. I can see Xena and Callisto falling down that.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was shot in New Zealand.
It's shot in New Zealand.
And
Produced by
RenPix. So,
Rob Tappert was the showrunner.
That's right.
So many weird coincidences.
what? What is it? Why does it look this way?
Yes.
There's people here.
It is the only Rob Tappert produced show not to star Lucy Lawless.
So why are we talking about it?
I know. Bye.
That's a fun fact.
But
that's not true. Is it? What? No.
According to IMDb, it is.
I don't think.
But she did host a little making of thingy for it.
Oh, that sounds fun. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
it's on YouTube's.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It's
nice.
cute.
I'm glad she was behind it.
Yeah,
I'll
so
have to
it's
look
as
up
if she's a
some
part
stuff
of
on
it.
my own for this fact.
I wonder if there was any talk of
Well,
her
not
being in it.
movies, just shows.
Yeah. No, just his involvement in like other early RenPix stuff and Raimi stuff, like American Gothic.
They don't count that.
They don't count.
Only Xena after.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just making it up.
And then what about those other shows that were at the same time as?
They don't
He
count.
wasn't really show running them because he was
They don't count.
doing Xena
Only things that he's really involved
and not like
in.
Hercules or stuff.
That's right.
Okay.
So wait. Do you guys know, like, was there any talk of Lucy Lawless being in Seeker? Was that ever in play?
I believe
Would she
Lucy
have been
Lawless
Shota?
is like,
Originally?
no thanks.
I can see her as Shota. That would have been really funny.
That would have been like probably the character she would have played because she's weird like that. Mm-hmm. But time and place. She came back to his programs at exactly the right moment.
Oh yes.
For an amazing performance.
Are you talking about Spartacus?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm just checking.
I would much rather that than her as Shota.
Yes.
Daniel Cormack did an amazing job.
Yes.
Yay.
One of many Xena faces.
Yes. Legend of the Seeker. Let's rewind.
What is it?
What the fuck is it?
What is it?
It is a show that of my favorite, IMDb, described as, and I think this is legit, Lord of the Rings meets Xena.
Okay.
Pretty
Sure.
legit.
Okay. New Zealand meets New Zealand.
Yeah, but it's
I get what you
fantasy,
mean.
but it's also like, you know, you fight with the swords and things like that.
Well, it's based on
and
a
it's
big
RenPix,
old pile of
so
books.
It is
Yes.
a big
Much
old
like
pile
Lord
of
of the
books.
Rings.
It's
Yeah.
definitely, I think, a reaction to the popularity at that time of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of influences in the show, but like the actual fantasy element, I mean, yeah, it is. I don't know, they plucked up these books that are, I mean, sold over 25 million copies of it, so I guess they're successful.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, there are a series of books written by Terry Goodkind.
Sold.
If you Google him, he looks like Mr. Clean from the Mirror Universe, like evil Mr. Clean.
Wow.
It's very specific.
Like
Yeah.
he has a goatee.
He has a goatee.
Mr.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Mr. Dirty.
Well, interesting. Well, I
And
read
he's a character.
one of them.
You did.
I guess they're kind of written by Mr. Dirty, actually. That definitely fits with the content.
No offense if whoever is requesting these, if you are a fan of the book series and the show. I
Yeah.
must say I did not care for the book.
Yeah.
You read the book or the
I don't
first
know
book?
if I've
She read-
finished
Yeah.
it.
I thought you read
first
the
one?
first one for
If I
sure.
read the first one, but like maybe I didn't finish it.
That's
I don't
true.
know.
You'd be forgiven. They're very long.
Yeah.
That's my only. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely picked it up and was like, no, thanks.
Problematic.
Yeah, I definitely read some of it, and I was like, it's weird though that I remember so much of the books
Oh,
from
really?
even like talking about it now. I was like, oh yeah, that part in the book, but in the book.
Well, I bet
and
you were like
da-da-da-da-da.
close reading the book, for information about, the next season of the show back
interesting.
in the day.
Yeah. The adaptation was interesting for the show. I remember from like the behind the scenes things where one of the writers like picked up whichever book it was and had all these little sticky notes, like colored sticky notes in it to be like, yeah, we're taking this from like book 5 and this from like book 6 and like this from whatever the next. So it's not like an
Like
Outlander adaptation of like each season is a book or like Game of Thrones was
Right.
sort of until it wasn't.
Right. I read probably also on IMDb, apparently our new favorite
Sponsored
resource.
by IMDb. Yeah.
That Terry Goodkind suggested they change the title of the show basically to give them more permission to...
Which, it's a good suggestion. Because
okay, that's
Sword of
cool.
Truth is a stupid name for
Yeah,
a
there's
show.
also that. Not that Legend of the Seeker is
That's
great. It's fine. It works.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Is the best title ever. It's a good one.
So yeah, I mean, it's like a good title for like a series.
Legend of
Yeah.
the is not bad. I think it's like Seeker that's funny for some reason.
Yeah,
or
we had a
other.
conversation about how all the titles in it are for some reason Quidditch roles in Harry Potter.
Maybe J.K. Rowling, problematic person, shake her jar.
Probably. So many problematic people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too heavy.
Wait, but it's empty.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, we emptied it out.
I mean,
you know.
we metaphorically emptied it
Yeah.
out. We couldn't exactly
Send coins
send
away.
these coins.
Because some of them are foreign coins.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, we still have our coins.
yeah, maybe J.K. Rowling it was inspired by the Sword of Truth books.
Ugh.
Sure.
And was like, this is perfect for Quidditch.
Jeez.
That seems unlikely.
It seems unlikely, but, a lot of things about J.K. Rowling 10 years ago I would have thought would be unlikely.
Yeah.
Here we
Very,
are.
very much wrong.
Let's all take a drink.
Big,
I
big drink.
ran out already of my drink.
What else is new?
Should I open this? This is just rum sitting right here.
It's true. She has a crazy. Is it 100 proof rum?
No.
Yeah, I love that now we record the podcast surrounded by rum.
Yeah, because Katie has become a bartender in quarantine because we can't go out to get cocktails. So she's like, I'll make my own.
Exactly.
So we've been having some good tiki stuff.
Very good.
Back to
The books.
Yes.
the books.
Terry Goodkind.
Well,
Terry
I wasn't
Goodkind.
a fan of the writing,
Yeah.
etc. But they did make a fun show out of them.
They did, and they made it like a PG-13 show out of it.
PG-13.
Yeah.
PG-13. Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to say PG, and then I was like, wait a second, no, that's sex. Yeah.
That's okay. Well, we're just gonna jump into that.
Extremely
Let's-
kinky show.
Well, the book, that's what I was going to say. The books are
even further.
straight up, like, are kinky, like, dungeon kinks, like, way more intense. Like, just, the stuff he wrote is just wacko. Like, I can't even describe a part that I'm thinking of.
Let's not say wacko.
Well, I mean, like, all right, that's fair. But they were like my like little. I was like, I couldn't believe what I'm reading.
Right,
shocked face.
we were little and going
We're
like, oh my god,
what? That's so intense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's surprising because I feel like, well, we'll get into it later maybe because we're still trying to like describe the show.
What it is.
What is it?
I
Yeah.
think people are scared now.
All
We're
right,
unfamiliar.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. The show is gentle. It's nice. It's about Richard Cypher, who is a guy. He's just like a little guy. He lives on a little farm.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice dude.
All the little, if you're picturing a little farm, you're picking a picture of some villages, some farms. They look exactly like Xena, except that someone took like a HD brush and magic wand and went
Yep.
and made them look really high quality.
Yup. And he sort of, much like, well, kind of like Buffy too, discovers via meeting a very attractive lady.
Buffy,
that
Happened on Buffy. That didn't happen on Buffy.
It should have.
It should have, yeah, indeed.
it was Rutger Hauer.
Oh no.
No. He discovers has a special destiny, basically.
Right, as many people do.
In a fantasy
fantasy
type of
big trope.
Yeah, exactly. Frodo finds the ring. Richard finds the fact that he's like the one true seeker. He gets a sword.
I disagree with Frodo. He does not have a special destiny. You're wrong.
What do you mean? He found her. His uncle
not
fucking took a ring.
It's an accident he gets the ring. Excuse me.
I don't know. Maybe it was foretold.
But like the protagonists of like the Wheel of Time and
every fucking
Harry Potter.
yeah.
Everybody just took a sip of White Claw at the same time.
I think our new rule for
Harry
mentioning
Potter.
problematic things
Drink.
is just to drink. We've reached that stage.
So Richard becomes the seeker, and he basically is kind of immediately thrown into his world is turned upside down. He kind of becomes involved in the world of Kahlhan, who is the hot lady I mentioned, who is a perfect introduction to any show, because if you literally turn the pilot on, the first thing you see is this gorgeous lady in this like white dress and this beautiful like slow-mo like hair flying everywhere,
on a horse.
and you're like, I'm watching this. Yep.
I mean, I would actually subtitle Legend of the Seeker as like hair porn.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the slow-mo hair porn in this program, which obviously is a big part of our love of Xena.
Yeah.
It's out of control in Seeker. It's like 80% just
So
hair
good.
flying
Hair.
around.
Yeah. Oh, I can't get enough of it.
80% seems right.
Yeah, and her hair
Slow-
gets bigger in
slow-mo.
season 2 too.
Yeah. Well, they knew what people liked, which was slow-mo hair.
Slow-mo dove. She has, there's like a quest going on, and he's like, I gotta help you.
There's like a MacGuffin. They're
Yeah.
retrieving some boxes.
Yeah, that's like a whole thing. But anyway, basically Richard and Kahlhan are trying to save the world, and they have a fun wizard
Everybody needs one.
named Zedicus Zul Zarander.
Oh, jeez.
Which I always, in my head, referred to him as Zoolander.
Oh, that's funny.
But I always think of him when I hear of the music producer Zed.
Oh, that
Because
makes sense.
his name's Zed.
Yeah.
So I think of Zedicus Zul Zarander. And he's, a character.
He's very tall.
Like he's very
Australian
tall,
man.
very,
Bruce Spence, who was not in Xena, but should have been.
should have been, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
Interesting.
also know him from whichever Mad Max it is that he's in. Is it
Right.
Road Warrior?
Probably.
I think Road Warrior.
Okay, yeah.
And also the mouth of Sauron in Lord of the Rings.
Gotcha.
And I think he's in one of the Matrix sequels, but
He
we've
looks like a
forgotten
dude
those.
out of a fantasy. You know, he's very like
Yeah, he looks
tall,
stretched.
lanky, strange, like vibe. Cool.
Yeah,
He was
he's
in
fun
Farscape.
Seeker.
Yeah.
He is in Farscape.
Yeah.
That's right.
course.
Of course he would be. Look at his face.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so he plays this like wacky wizard, like in the
Kind
in
of
the
an
pilot.
Obi-Wan, but like
Yeah,
more fun.
like he's like naked with like a chicken covering his junk in the pilot,
Right,
so you know
yeah.
he's like bunny.
Ew.
Sure.
Yeah, and then it's, you know, I don't know. Are we doing spoilers for this
Well,
show?
I think not. I mean, this is just a general
Okay.
describing, but we could go into a spoiler zone.
Yeah, maybe
I
we'll have a
think.
spoiler zone towards the end.
Yeah,
We can
because
do
we are
that.
going to talk about best episodes and things.
That's
Yeah.
true. All right. Well, anyway, he's part of the gang, so they go around in their episodic episodes, 22
Episodic episodes.
22 per season.
There is a narrative.
Yeah, there's like a
There's
it's
an
a little
over-
like
yeah,
Buffy or
it's an
Xena
over-
for
yeah,
that
It's
matter.
an overarching narrative. However, there's like
Lots
a
of
lot of episodes.
Like Buffy.
And Buffy's season 1 at least was like 10 episodes. So
Oh,
you're
but that's because it's a mid-season review.
okay, but like if you're in it, you're in it. However, as we know from Xena, it is difficult to get people into a fantasy type of show.
Because there's so many episodes to watch.
Yeah, and
Often
like
before it finds its feet, which
Right.
I bet is the case with Seeker.
well, it did have the pilot is really attractive and really self-contained and good, and it's like a 2-parter pilot, so you feel like you're
Kind of a little movie
So,
about that
Yeah, so if you
world.
like these characters, you're gonna continue. But in my personal opinion, it dips
After
to that. Yeah, like the early
then-
Xena episodes.
Gotcha. And then, like, by mid-season 1.
Specifically, episode 8.
Is that Denna?
That's Jenna.
All right.
And it comes back, and then
So
you're
earlier
like in
than
it.
even mid-season 1.
And
Not
it's
that
definitely
long.
earlier than Xena, which in my opinion is
Season
pilot to Callisto, episode 20.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's something intriguingly similar about, when the complicated antagonist shows up, that's when it gets good.
A blonde.
Who happens to be blonde.
Okay, all right.
All right, so Richard Kalan said they're going around doing their adventures.
Oh, you didn't list the, like, pushing daisies conflict between
Right,
the
so-
heterosexual
well,
main romance.
We can also introduce what a confessor is. That's
Yeah,
Kalan.
yes.
Which, in my opinion, is the best part of the whole show, is this
Yeah.
Yes.
concept.
Yes. So he's the seeker. He has a magic sword. He has to like protect the realm. And she's a confessor, and so she has like a special power. She's born in the line of confessors. So like all the women in
Yeah.
that line have this power, which is to hold somebody by their throat, stare
Right,
them
very
in the eyes,
specific. Yeah.
stare them in the eyes,
Very
wait for
intensely.
like an intense zoom in to happen on their eyes.
And the wind
The
starts
wind
blowing.
starts
up.
blowing their hair, and then the person's eyes turn like black, and then they're her like slaves. Basically, they
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
indebted to her
Forever.
until she dies.
Until she dies. But it's not like
basically.
she can break that.
No, that's it. You
Yeah.
know,
So she can, like, make people into her thralls forever.
So confessors are actually
She's
like
forbidding.
it sounds bad, but they're technically good. This like order of women.
It sounds bad, but they're technically good.
They're supposed to. So like each village is technically supposed to have like their own confessor who kind of like helps keep peace and like because they know how to like read people. They know when people are
Right.
like
They
telling
have
the
kind of
truth.
other abilities
Yeah.
beyond this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like if need be, they have this power. So to be a confessor, lady, it's rough because like you can't have the sex because if you have the sex, you lose control and therefore you confess whoever
Which
you're
means you
you're
grab your
boning.
partner by the throat, look into their eyes. Like,
Yeah.
this is the thing that will just
The
spontaneously
wind will
happen.
come. Yes. So you can't get too happy is kind
Like
of the
Angel.
thing. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I really like that. I feel like this is definitely a trope, especially in like vampire fiction. I like that it's being associated with women in Seeker. That it's the women who like can't control themselves during sex and have to be careful.
No,
Written
that
by
makes
its
it so
Terry
bad,
Bad Kind.
actually.
I mean, yeah, but it's interesting. It definitely
it's an interesting aspect of it.
It kept my
Anyways, our
attention.
two leads cannot have sex.
Yes,
That's
and they
upsetting.
really
They
wanna.
love
They
each
like
other.
really wanna.
And I think the fact that Kahlan's power, you know, she's a good guy, but the potential to misuse this is so huge.
Yes.
I think that creates a really interesting character from the beginning, because you're like, how could anybody have this as their thing?
Right.
You know, overriding people's autonomy and personhood and still be like the protagonist.
Right. Yeah. And she does it a lot. She
does
uses
it
it a lot.
In that sense, it's a little like Xena. We're like
Yeah.
going around doing the murders.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I
don't know.
I hope so. I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, so this, you know, the order sort of has like a mother confessor who's like in charge of them all, and then little baby confessors. And through the series, due to circumstances, Caitlin becomes mother confessor by season 2. So that's cool. I wanted to mention, like you said, that it becomes complicated. Like there is a really good episode that deals with the potential of what a lady who's in charge of a village could do, who's a confessor. Like, for instance, confess the whole village. Why not?
Why not? It's fun. And she justifies it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's fun.
Yeah. I do think that was, for me, one of the really fun aspects of Seeker was that, like, it gave each character a set of powers and kind of like a magic system around each individual person.
Yeah.
And like seeing the way those systems, like it really like thought of every kind of dramatic possibility that could happen and did it over the course of the show. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you mentioned various magic systems. So we have a wizard. So you have wizards
Wizard
running
powers.
around with their, he like can put, like he has a fire coming out of his hands a lot.
Mostly. Let's be real.
Then there's Richard the Seeker. So he has like a sword, and then that's kind of like his thing until more things are revealed due to his lineage. Mm-hmm. You have the confessors. You have the main bad guy, Darken Rawl.
That's his name. His name is
Darken.
Rawl.
That's his first name.
Because he's the baddie. He's the baddie.
Was it
what
his-
the hell?
Isn't his dad's name something like Penis?
Panis Rawl. Yeah.
Panis Rawl.
And that is for sure. He started, Terry Goodkind definitely started with, let's see, penis. What can I do? What can I do with this word to make it be?
Not
Yes.
penis, but just basically
His
penis.
dad is kind of a dick. Penis Rawl. Oh, panis.
Who's Dark and Rawl played by, guys?
Darken Rawl is played by Craig Parker.
Hey!
One might know him as Pumpkin from Xena.
It's Pumpkin!
What happened to you, Pumpkin?
Oh man, he has the hair of Severus Snape.
Okay.
And the voice of Severus Snape. And the wardrobe of sometimes Severus Snape.
Severus Snape at a club. It's like red
If
and
Snape
velvety.
ever wanted to wear red velvet,
Yeah.
he'd be Severus Snape.
Yeah, it's red velvety. The color scheme of the bad guys, the Daharan army, is like black and red, and they're very kind of like, Sithy, aka Nazi-ish looking.
They're bad.
They're bad.
Yeah, he's a
They're
fascist.
bad. Yeah. Well, he's very bad.
Yeah.
He wants to just be a powerful dude, and he has like power, like magical, powers or whatever. So Richard needs to stop him doing any of his plans.
He's very bad. Bad plans.
Bad dude. And he has a faction of women working for him.
Yes, he does.
Called the Mord-Sith.
Yes, he does.
And they're bad.
Because they're Sith.
Sith and Mord. That's a lot.
Mordor.
Yeah, that's so much. So many bad words.
Oh, man. How can we describe these ladies?
How do?
Dominatrixes.
Yep. He has a bunch of dominatrixes
Club
working for him.
Vandersexxx meets...
I mean, basically wearing that outfit from Club Vandersexxx.
Yep.
and if you take her hair from that and put a braid, that's the Mord-Sith.
Yeah.
They have like long braids.
No safe word.
And there are no safe words. And they have a leather sort of catsuit situation.
Lots of buckles.
A lot of buckles, which is, good. I like that. And they carry a weapon called the Agile.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like a magical dildo.
It does.
/ a police baton.
True.
Oh, sure. But it looks more like
it's a magical dildo. And it has this power that it, like, if you're touched by it, it kind of, it just sends pain into yourself.
Much as we've, like, not written, because we are a podcast. Other people have written about Xena's like weapon and it being the circle. I'm sure there has been papers about the Agile.
Right, or there could be. Start writing now.
Power dynamics. And women wielding these weapons. Interesting.
Yes, but they are connected to, I guess, the heart of Dark and Raw. So, like, if he's dead, their weapons don't work. But if he's alive, or his bloodline is alive, then their weapons work. And then also it turns out that they themselves constantly feel this pain because they are tortured from birth to be this way, etc. And they have this special ability also to give the breath of life. So, like, if someone gets killed, they can quickly, like, blow into their mouths.
Convenient when necessary.
This little breath.
And doesn't work when...
Yes, exactly.
The plot doesn't want it to. I think.
I'm sure.
So when you think about it, it's pretty fascinating that a lot of female factions, and including in the show, season 2, there's like a whole like sister, like these nuns that kind of spring up.
Sexy nuns.
Red
habits.
Cool. Red silky habits.
With a lot of cleave.
Yeah. So
more Xena people.
Yeah.
Yes. Alison Bruce, who has been in many episodes of Xena, is one of the sisters. And
also Jolene Blaylock, known as Subcommander T'Pol from Enterprise. But anyway, it's just really interesting when you think about it that there's these like literal like large groups of women all over the show sort of doing stuff, having magical abilities, and then there's like the Seeker, the one guy, and then like Dark and Raw, the one guy, and then of course there's like a bunch of soldiers who work for Dark and Raw, but
goons.
It's just cool. Yeah, there's a lot of goons. Yeah, that's kind of the main sort of character sketches. There's some specific Mord-Sith that appear. I don't know if we want to get into that yet.
Sure, I mean they're main characters.
Well,
Cara for sure is.
Yeah. So Cara is introduced at the end of season 1, and in the books, I think she's introduced much later. Like she's like in the definitely not in the first.
Oh wow.
Book.
So she's a kind of a fan favorite. They moved
her
forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's a Mord-Sith who then, due to circumstances, becomes cast out of the Mord-Sith
club.
Yeah. And joins up with our crew and becomes a reformed Mord-Sith. And we know this because they cut off her little braids, so she gets a cute little haircut.
Cute little bob.
And she takes off the buckles on her Mord-Sith outfit and has like some cleave happening. She frees the boobs.
Check out the costumes real quick.
Yeah, the costumes are actually really incredible.
Yeah, I would say my favorite of all the costumes has to be Kahlan's white dress. It is just such an iconic outfit.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. And obviously the way it moves in slow-mo and dramatic slow-mo
that's
is
important.
Incredible.
Yeah.
The costume designer is none other than Jane Holland, who the podcast has been rather critical of.
For a time, but then she clearly evolved.
So Xena's second costume designer here really coming into her own. I would say Seeker's costumes,
they're incredible.
We're sorry, Jane Holland.
Yeah.
You rock.
Yeah, I mean, it's all very thought out, all made for the show.
And they have to look better because it looks better.
It looks so good. The Mord-Sith leather looks really great too.
Yeah.
I just don't like the wedge heels.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
That's a personal preference.
Never really a fan,
But whatever, the ladies rock. All the costumes for everyone looks really, really, really great. And I remember it was a big deal when they started auctioning them off after the show was definitely not coming back.
Oh, that's
and people
always
like
a
bought.
sad period, in the life of a show,
Yeah. So yeah, Cara, that's who we were talking about.
Yes.
And she's like a fan, so if she was a fan favorite character from the book, I feel like she's definitely a fan favorite character, at least from fandom of the television show, which is
for sure,
my perception.
Yeah.
And her arc is a little bit like Xena in that she is this rehabilitated figure who, kind of is wrestling with her own trauma and trying to figure out how to atone and do good.
Or as somebody on IMDb said, just like 7 of 9 from Star Trek Voyager. Taken from youth, and made to be a killer, and then now is a grown-up blonde lady
find her own way
in a cat suit.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Trying to bring some ratings to a show, okay? So we mentioned how Seeker is like super duper pretty, which it effing is. Oh my god, it was so good for the vids. It was like eating chocolate. I don't know, it was so good.
It was like eating chocolate. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's not to say Xena is gorgeous and it uses the New Zealand scenery and it has all these shots, but we're talking about a difference of almost 10 years and even more than when Xena first started. So in 2008, in your past, as we said, Lord of the Rings being movies, this show looks hot. It's using the landscape. It's filmed with, really high quality.
It's not filmed with a 16 millimeter like when Xena started.
Oh, wow.
It's so it looks great. And it just looks really great.
Yeah, and the influences are huge on the look of this program. But obviously, Lord of the Rings.
Sorry, without
of
Xena,
course.
No. it wouldn't be the way that it is.
I'm sure we brought it up when we talked about in our New Zealand minisode.
Yeah, and I literally wouldn't exist without Xena because several of the directors who worked on Xena worked on this show.
And that's, also why it's so well directed.
Yeah, so we have a lot of influences, I would say, from 300. A lot of Zack Snyder influences are in this movie. So 300 and Watchmen come to mind.
The slow-mo, especially in the action scenes.
Yeah, this became really popular after 2006. Yeah, I think Watchmen was 2008. So it's really awesome when you have your action scenes with the hair flying when you hit it, and then you ramp up the speed, and then it goes slow-mo, and it looks real good.
Why was there such a gap between bullet time and the Matrix and then the stuff being everywhere? That's a good chunk of
bullet time is different.
Slightly different.
Yeah,
but I think people associate that kind of slow-mo action with the Matrix at first.
Yeah.
You're talking about very specific techniques. And I'm sitting here just being bozo who watches things, who goes and in the middle of the scene it gets really slow.
Yeah, but it gets really slow. So bullet time is specific to a 360 spin around it.
Which you pause the action and spin.
You might know that technique
an entire
from
spin, not just slowing down any which way.
Right. Yeah, you slow down.
Freeze it. Yeah.
Exactly, and then the camera moves around it, so it's very similar.
These things.
It's like it's the red carpet cameras or whatever.
Oh my God,
they go
that's
the
really
360
funny.
around you.
It's a mani
I feel like it was then used in other movies, other kind of less popular action movies from
after
early 2000s.
that, plus Scary Movie, I think used it.
A lot of people used it to kind of make fun of it because it was so specific to the Matrix.
Exactly, yeah. But I think Zack Snyder introduced a huge thing to me. I'm a fan of this look, but it is of a time.
It gets overused, sure.
Not really.
Well,
it's more of it, please. Everything should be slow-mo fast. Hair porn, give it to me everywhere.
Stuff still does it.
Then you have people.
People still use it now.
I don't know if they use so much of the ramping of it. There is a lot of
freezing.
A lot of real slow-mo stuff. For instance, remember Legion, Katie? Legion on FX, the Noah Hawley show. Katie you famously flounced on it because there was an entire, I don't know, maybe 5-minute scene that was of the characters like walking to the car in full slow-mo.
You have to have, I mean,
And
a
it was, like,
reason for it.
stylistic choice.
A reason for it would be nice.
Walking to the car.
Like, even if the reason is just Kahlan's hair is pretty and it's
Yeah.
like fast, like, you know,
It's
that's
good.
fine. But
Yeah.
like, oh man, ugh. Anyway,
So yeah, so we have this Snyder Luke heavily influencing the show. A lot of color grading as well, really making the New Zealand scenery pop in a different way.
Yeah, and look sort of unfamiliar
Yeah.
at times, which is cool.
Yeah, and I would say like now the Shannara Chronicles, like
yes.
they were influenced by Seeker. I would say like that's the
sure.
kind
I
of
mean, it's all
sort of look.
one. It's all, you know,
Yeah.
The lineage.
things beget other things.
So-
Xena did it first.
So
Xena
yeah,
did it always first.
directors of Xena who go on to direct Seeker include some of our faves.
Cool.
And I think we've even brought this up when discussing Mark Beasley.
Yeah.
Who was, you know, never like our fave Xena director until maybe like towards the end when he's really
Yeah.
coming into his own. Then he
Yeah,
became
then
known
he-
as the Bees,
The
Buzz
Bees.
Buzz, as you may recall. And I think we started complimenting him by saying he was like learning from King Rick with
Yeah.
the slow-mo. So now I think he's ascended to the crown
Yeah.
and has become King Bees. Because the slow-mo in his episodes is gorgeous.
It's so good. The stuff he does on this show. I mean, they just couldn't do it really at the time on Xena. But yeah, the most of our guys from Xena who direct Seeker are Mark Beasley, Garth Maxwell, Michael Hurst,
Michael.
Hey.
all our faves. And then you'll see them on Spartacus as well.
Yep.
So, what about our favorite episodes? Well, we mentioned Denna.
Denna's definitely one of my faves, and honestly, one of the only ones I remember from back in the day of watching this program. Denna is this really cool character. Also, like Cara, she's a Mord-Sith, and in fact, she's introduced long before Cara.
Oh, yeah.
She was sort of like I was saying earlier, a bit of a Callisto figure, introduced in the first season to torture Richard. Very kind of love these fanfic tropes all over the place in the episode called Denna. Because,
Yeah.
she's there to break his spirit,
Yep.
but he will not be broken.
Because Kaylin, love.
Yeah. Kaylin's love saves him. But she is played by this very interesting actress, Jessica Murray.
Yep.
Who just imbues the character with a lot of complexity, like right from the off. Like there's just like, you know, she's not just someone who works at Club Vandersexxx. Just
How dare you?
immediately are like, who is this lady? What is going on? And she's your introduction to the idea of the Mord-Sith.
Yes.
So like I feel like she immediately like makes it clear that, you know, this isn't just like evil ladies in fetish wear doing things. I really still like enjoy that episode. It looks amazing. It has
It's, yeah.
a lot of great hurt comfort. Oh man, yeah, that's definitely a favorite of mine. She comes back a few times. I feel like the character is never quite so interesting as in Denna, and she does not appear as much as I would like, which again is a little bit like Callisto on Xena.
I fully agree. When she appeared, I mean, like I go pilot Denna. Like you have to see that. That will make you watch the show a lot more than just like random villagers need, you know, saving from a monster. You know, that kind of bullshit that was before that. It is so like she has such charisma and like you can see everything, the history of like this character like in her performance of this one episode. I had like a crazy unpopular opinion where I was like, oh, instead of actually having Cara, they should like reform Denna because we already know her.
I felt that way too. Yeah,
So-
I really wanted Denna to
Yeah.
kind of occupy that role as the reformed Mord-Sith, and
Yeah.
it was like kind of never never down with Cara because of it, which I feel bad about now.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely your very unpopular opinion back in the day.
I did not like season 2 of the show at the time. I was just kind of super grouch about it because I wanted the Denna show.
Yeah, I mean, at least they could have done, like, Denna attempts to be the reformed one and then, like, maybe can't or something.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, I think that is there in the few episodes she gets, but it just isn't, it isn't cohesive or especially good. Yeah.
She wears that, like, she's like a madam at one point. Like, she
Yeah.
wears the badass, like, white Mord-Sith outfit.
Yeah, that's
She's hardcore.
a cool visual.
Yeah. Yeah, so Denna is a standout episode. I always kind of gravitate towards, like, the season finale of season 1, which is, like, one of those,
It's really dark, man.
yeah.
Sort of like,
like,
the darkest timeline.
Yeah, exactly, the darkest timeline where Richard is sent into the future via some crazy confluence of a confessor and an Aegil happening at the same time for him.
This is why I say that different magic systems are fun.
Yeah.
The way the show kind of uses them.
And so he's sent to the future, and Kahlin kind of like has to marry Darken Rawl.
Mm-hmm. For reasons.
For
fanfic reasons.
Yeah, and basically like have, a kid so that her child would be a confessor who would later be the confessor who would like send him back to the past via the same kind of magical confluence of events, but
elaborate.
Very elaborate, but also like incredible, kind of like badass Kahlin stuff.
Yeah,
like
kind
super
of,
badass.
It like gave me the like Shakespearean vibes because it's all this like court drama.
Yeah,
and she has like her lady in waiting who is on her side, played by Rose McIver, aka
in the
soup.
She's in
that
little,
terrible episode.
Little girl.
She wasn't in the soup.
No,
Xena
was in the soup.
Little problems.
Oh, the worst.
But Rose McIver, we talked about at the time. That's now like
other things.
On lots of stuff.
Yeah. So that's a fun one, and it has the rules that deal with what if the child of a confessor is not a girl but a boy? What happens then if
it's bad?
Males can't handle that power of a confessor. They're the worsts. So that's really good. Season 2, there's they up the prettiness. Richard grows his hair out and has a little beard.
Is that part of the upping of the prettiness?
I think there was
Works
an attempt.
better. Yeah.
There was an attempt to like make him, I think, seem older because he's such a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Kahlin gets a new outfit. She has like a second outfit that's like leathery
it's, like, dark.
and has like her legs are a lot more shown off. Yes, please.
They're slits.
Yeah, you have Cara there, and we mentioned that her hair gets like a lot longer. And
Cara?
No, Kahlin.
Kalen's hair is longer in 2.
Yeah, there's like more hair.
Wow,
to be slow-mo.
Wow.
There was a lot to begin with.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun episodes in that one. I like the one where Kahlin gets split into 2. The old one Kahlin is just a lady and one Kahlin is full confessor.
Yeah.
Was fun. There's a really good Cara character study called Hunger, where she kind of becomes like this zombie situation due to season 2 events. And, you sort of like get a lot of her reformed choices there. There's a big one called Desecrated where Cara and Kahlin are trapped in a underground mine or something together, like some kind of well.
Okay.
And it's the big old like, oh no, frenemies stuck together. What will they do?
I always think of that episode of Lost with Kate and Julia.
It's exactly the same energy.
plot.
I love
same
that
energy.
episode of Lost.
And they're like running out of air, and like so it's like a whole thing where by the end they have to be like, I love you too. No air. And then they're saved.
That's a good segue into the fandom thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes.
I would like to make a confess. Like, the show was on at a time period where I did not really participate in the fandom that Vera is going to talk about. It was kind of, I was watching it happen, all my friends were in it.
Yeah.
But I did not watch this show with any femme/goggles on it at all. Zero. I was not shipping Cara Kaelin. It was not happening for me. I don't know why. I don't know. It was just not something that I did for this show, but I feel like I probably would if I go through and watch the whole thing again. But there was a lot in the fandom that was very, very fun, and I sadly missed the boat at that time.
Yeah, from my experience, I was heavily in the fandom, and it was really fascinating because season 1 was very Richard Kaelin.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there was no Cara.
Yeah, that was the ship. There was. I didn't see any femme/, but I also, my confession is as well, I wasn't really in any kind of femme/goggles yet.
Yeah.
I didn't buy my goggles yet. Okay.
I don't think I had them on. Just was not happening.
I just was watching the show as is. So if these characters were kissing on screen, then they're the couple, and if those characters
such a canon thumper.
Yeah, I was canon thumping around.
Okay, we've all been there.
Yeah, so season 1 was very Richard Kaelin. There was that was all the work, the fan works were about that.
I wrote one fan fiction.
Oh, so you were in the fandom.
Yeah, for Cara and no.
Oh,
sorry,
I see, for Richard Kaelin. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was more involved in season 1 in the fandom during season 1 than season 2 actually. So that's my weird perspective is that too as well. But yeah, once Cara came along and the Kaelin Cara shippers, they literally took over.
It was
fun. One of those things where it was just oh, okay, this is the ship now. And not that the other people went away, it's just that from where I was on LJ, Life Journal. It was there was no ship wars. It wasn't the fandom of the 100. It wasn't like that, but they didn't have Twitter. So,
or at least we weren't seeing them.
They would have had Twitter.
They did have Twitter, yeah. But it wasn't the same. I didn't see any kind of fighting. It was just kind of accepted that Cara Kaelin was now the ship, and yeah, you can make your Richard Kaelin stuff, sure, but everyone's just interested in that other thing. Some of my super deep confession is that I also was not into Cara. So that
I don't think I realized this. I felt guilty about it at the time.
No, I mean you weren't wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
if only I'd known.
Yeah, but I mean, I loved the show so much that I got her as a character, and she was there, and that was fine to me. I have my fan works that dealt with.
Vera has a ton of amazing secret vids.
Yeah, I have a lot of vids.
Amazing.
They're not on my YouTube. They're on. I think I put them on my Vimeo though.
Okay.
But anyway, so
why too old? They're so good.
Yeah, they're too old.
Put them on Vimeo and put them on the archive.
Yeah, I should.
In any case.
As what was going on in the canon, I accepted that stuff. It's fine. But personally, I wasn't going around and being oh my gosh, this, because I also really, really love Deda, and I totally there was such a difference in. I mean, Jessica Marie graduated from NIDA. That is acting school galore.
You're saying that because Kate Blanchett went there.
Yes, and Anna Torv, my faves, all went to NIDA.
Just if you didn't go there, it doesn't mean you're a bad actress.
Yeah, so you have to be blonde.
So elitist.
You have to be blonde, and you have to go there. Okay.
Gross. Gross.
But it just. It was there. You could see that.
She was really.
You could see that.
Really, really amazing actress.
Okay.
And I think. Tabret.
Yes.
She is quite good. I think we have had this conversation. I'm going to have it again. I'll be the one. I wasn't into Buffy Faith either because number one, I didn't have my femme/goggles on at that time either. And this is kind of that dynamic. You can watch Vera's Come With Knives vid about all this stuff. But I didn't think Eliza Dushku was very good and wasn't appealing to me. So I never could get on board that train, and I feel that is a similar vibe with Cara. But actually, going back, I actually do think she's very good. So I take it all back.
Yeah.
I take it all back. I think at the time
that,
I was just kind of disconnect.
I think she does a really good job with her character, and I think that.
Dushku, though. I don't take it back.
I mean,
About Eliza Dushku.
you even
Never
as
forget.
Faith,
She's
good as
Faith is
good.
her
Great
best
as Faith.
She's great as Faith.
Yeah.
That's
And
her
I think
best role.
it's similar with Tabret, where I feel like her
Yeah.
particular quality, which is a very stoic, like kind of works for Cara.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, it is that kind of thing where like, you know, you want to see the depth and complexity, and like it's debatable whether or not it's there. Yeah.
I have like really crazy. I mean, okay, we love this show, and certainly at the time, definitely loved it. We did try after watching Xena to fully rewatch it.
Right,
and we couldn't.
because there's just so many Xena people involved. Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't get that. I mean, we didn't try
We
that
didn't get to
hard.
episode, guys. We did not get to episode 8, which is I say that's the one that hooks you.
I think we maybe
So-
watched 2 or 3.
Yeah, we got to like episode 3 or something.
Yeah, I was a little bit like, I don't remember like these episodes being this way.
Yeah.
But like
It was much cheesier than I remember.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
funny because
Well,
it's funny
those were,
having
like,
just
the
watched
dumb
Xena
ones.
that we were like, what? This is so
Well,
cheesy.
I
Xena
have to
feels
say-
like, you know, knowingly cheesy, whereas I
Yeah.
think Seeker maybe was trying to be serious and failed.
But like
a little.
once you get to like something serious, like a
like a Dena, yeah.
Yeah.
then it's like on
Right.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very fun. And like, but also I think the way that it kind of exists in that RenPixy way is lend itself to like the fandom being a lot of fun. Like there's a lot of
Yes.
crack and a lot of silliness and a lot of like, and it, it was just really fun.
The fandom was so fantastic. I am only coming from it from the live journal aspect, like, but on live journal we had such a great time. There was a community called apparently I was a co-mod of it. I saw today when I went back to
I
it.
didn't remember that.
I do not remember.
What a great mod you must have been.
It was called Sword of Lies, Sword_of_lies, because it was the crack community. So like any kind of funny thing that, you know, like a fic or a pic spam or something, went there. Out of that kind of crack community came the cracky recaps by our friend Deej, and I say our friend because I met so many friends in that
From Seeker fandom.
from that fandom on LiveJournal. Some of them are listening. Hi guys.
People that we know in real life.
Yeah, but she made these cracky recaps, which were so funny, and eventually, like, they got so popular that eventually somebody on the crew of the show found them, and then they would like print them out and like show the actors and things like that. So it was like a known thing. She was friends with like the stunt people, and she's from Australia, so like it's, you know, it's like one of their own sort of, and you know, it's sort of. But anyway, it was like a really big deal, really good time. And I also,
And like you said, very low on drama, which is
Low on drama,
rare and a
yeah.
beautiful thing when you can find it.
we had
People are gonna come tell us about all the drama.
Yeah, we just
yeah.
weren't aware of all the drama,
we
guys.
probably weren't.
Sure,
Yeah.
there were book people really
Oh,
pissed.
God, yeah.
Just book people every
Book purists,
grumping
yeah.
somewhere.
They're
God,
they're
you're right,
always
you're
there.
right.
Yeah.
Other things that were really fun in the Sort of Lies thing was that we would throw Shota's pool party.
And Shota, as we mentioned, played by
Yeah, and
McCormick.
she's a character who's like a witch, and she was constantly like pouring water and like looking in the water to see the future and things like that. So she always had like a basket of water next to her, so that's why she had a
her
pool
pool party.
party. And so that was really fun. And not too long ago, there was a Bridget and Tabret rewatched, I forget what episode, they did like an Instagram live
Oh, that's so
together
nice.
and like rehashed them. And so Deej and you know, the people from the fandom like kind of like threw a new Shota pool party to celebrate.
Oh,
It was really cute.
10 years later,
Yeah.
a Shota pool party.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
really
sweet.
nice.
Yeah.
If there is one thing about quarantine that is a silver lining, it's the amount of reunions of these beloved shows that have happened.
Yeah.
Like you can get those casts
Yep.
to like communicate with each other. So I'm really enjoying that. And that's so nice they did that.
Yeah, so it was such a good time. I also getting this request sort of like threw me into the nostalgia trip. I went on my LJ, and it's like really messed up because like
Photobucket
Photobuck is dead, so
Well,
like half the photos
people
aren't
paying
there.
for it.
But But I remember that like I pulled out my DVD set and like opened it up, and I found these like 2 cards that were signed by Bridget Regan and Craig Horner from when I went to this like new Times Square Seeker event that I guess the production company paid for for season 2. So that's like a big deal because I don't know, it's like a silly show. So like they threw this whole event where they had like fake looking Mord-Sith walking around, and then the stars came and signed your little cards, and I had a little picture with Bridget. It was a big deal for me.
Cute.
And then I went to work. So yeah, it was like a big nostalgia trip, really. But hilariously, like rewatching the show, I have like such unpopular opinions about like the casting. I feel like it's like half miscast.
Oh dear.
And but yeah, but not Kahlin.
Not Kahlin.
Bridget Regan, you are.
She's
I worship.
fantastic.
I worship.
Yeah, she really makes it.
Yeah, I mean she really does.
And
make
in
it.
my favorite Hallmark, one of my favorites,
I've seen that Hallmark. What is it called?
Magic Stocking.
Magic
Stocking.
It's a good one.
If you can
And
find
rolls
it.
around again next year.
Yeah.
But she also goes on to do Agent Carter and Jane the Virgin.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's
Lots of
rightfully fantastic
Yeah.
and got work, and good for her.
Yeah.
And Craig Parker, who is one of the ones who I feel like is miscast.
As Dark and Raw?
I think he's super miscast.
What
as
about
Dark
that
Girl.
Xena episode where he's the bad guy? Not Pumpkin. I forget that villain's name in Helicon. It's very similar to Dark and Raw.
No, Dark and Raw is like way over the top. He's like,
You just don't like that.
he's just ridiculous.
Maybe that's a personal preference.
That's a personal
Yeah, I don't think that's a miscasting thing. That's maybe a tonal complaint.
A tonal complaint, I guess, but I'm like, I don't know. He could have.
He's
been
got a
different.
voice like caramel,
Yeah, but he's just
face
so
like Severus Snape.
fun.
I mean,
Do you think he's in his own show and he's like not vibing with the rest of the show? Like he's.
it just comes off slightly like silly. Some of the stuff, and I'm just
Yes,
like,
that's
I don't
true.
want that. I want it to be serious wizardry.
Okay,
I'm trying to
Vera.
think of it like an analogy, like when there's like a famous or an actor or an actress like in a show and they're like kind of in their own show too, like the
He's definitely in his own show.
just like maybe like I don't know.
He just
The only thing
like
that's coming to mind is Madeline Stowe on that show Revenge.
Oh my
and you like
God.
wish that the show was like that instead.
I mean,
but you're saying
sure.
it's like the opposite. He's like doing his own like kind of thing, and
he made a choice.
we don't wish it was like that. Instead, you wish he was.
I wish it
taking
was a
I don't
serious
think he's
evil
taking it
bad
seriously
guy.
enough.
All right. I mean, I can't say I agree, and I certainly don't think
That's
he's
good.
miscast.
I'm really good that other people don't see it because I don't want anybody to look at that show and go, "This is silly," even though there's a little boy who plays the Seeker.
Yeah.
But look at his abs.
I don't know. You keep calling him a little boy.
He's just
it's
so
very
small.
Strange. He's like an adult man.
No, he's this tiny
Yeah, but
child
he's
man.
He's a very boyish quality.
He's a
Yeah,
boyish
but he's
quality, and I think he's
not
fully
like
miscast.
Well,
That's Craig Horner.
Craig
Basically, you have some
Horner.
kind of
I don't
Craig
like a Craig.
problem.
Yeah, a Craig on that
don't like
show.
Craigs.
Not great.
Interesting.
No, but
Well,
Craig.
he's a sweetheart.
But Craig Parker, I love him, and fond memories in, I guess it must have been like 2009 Dragon Con. Obviously they couldn't get anybody from this show, but he was there for like Lord of the Rings, and they were
fun.
like, he was in a Seeker, put him in a Seeker panel.
Oh, fun.
So he was
Yeah,
like the only
do
one
that.
there. There was a girl dressed as Kahlin. I was like, my show. And he's really sweet.
Yeah,
and
he's a lovely person.
Every time he like is at Dragon Con,
I
he's
just
always
had
like
an
sitting,
emotion. Yeah, because I knew what you were gonna say.
looking
Sorry.
cute.
Oh, sitting, looking cute. That's what you're gonna say.
Well, he does that thing where he doesn't sit behind the table. He sits like outside.
yeah,
in front.
and then it made me like upset about like pandemic universe and like
Yeah.
when will cons be able to do that again? But yeah, he was
Yeah.
like one of those ones who would like just go out
Interact
in
with
front of the
you,
table and talk
yeah.
to people instead of like
Yeah.
just being like sitting by and doing the autograph and then leaving.
Yeah, and also
But then I would always be like, God, how are they like touching all these people all day long? That was my
Well,
immediate. I was like, oh God,
they always
gross.
get the cruds.
No. Cons.
See, but I was right.
you
They
see,
shouldn't have
sometimes
been
you
doing
see
that.
them. They would pump the hand sanitizer between people
Yeah.
for sure. But
I do that all day long after every person. That's an insane amount.
Well, maybe not after every person, but I've definitely seen, like, I don't know, Summer Glau or something do it.
She touched my sweater once.
With her gross hand.
She was like, I like that material.
And then she sanitized real
Where
good.
Did you get it? No, she was like, where did you get, she said like, I forget exactly, but I was like, it's from Old Navy, it was like $10. It's like what I said.
That's great. I love this story.
Good.
I'm done meeting people. Anyway.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear, I think maybe it's some kind of weird, like, Dark and Raw Craig Parker thing, because I think he's perfectly cast in Spartacus.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great.
He's a
and also as the
actor.
elf.
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Haldir?
Yeah. So anyway, man, Seeker, what a time. So many, like, from the vidding perspective, there were so many amazing vids that were made for that show.
Oh, yeah, let's post some.
Well, maybe we can, like...
We're on a posting vid streak, so, yeah, why not?
I feel like if you're a fan of Xena and you're looking for something to watch, it's 2 seasons. It's definitely
it's
fun.
quickie.
And I think that, like, just being, like, from the Xena universe, like, as a fan, it's kind of, like, a completist thing. Like,
there's so many people from Xena who guest star.
And, Ted appears.
Ted is there.
For sure.
Probably like it.
Yeah.
Or at least find something that you like in it.
You know, lots of, like, Village of the Week with a problem that needs to be solved.
Exactly.
So it's really the same genre.
Come on, how can you not love Kaylin and her hair?
Exactly.
Come on.
Just like Xena and her bangs. All right.
So yeah, Legend the Seeker. Oh, speaking of good times, anything that's been making us happy recently?
Oh dear. I'm sure there's something.
Crickets.
Eurovision Song Contest.
The
Story of Fire Saga on Netflix. Very, very, very funny. Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams movie about Eurovision.
Mostly Rachel McAdams was making me happy in it.
It's so
funny.
She
was a delight.
I love her in comedies. And it's really good. And, like, because they have more familiarity with Eurovision, it made it, like, very funny. I think that helps a little bit if you know stuff about Eurovision.
Yeah, it's a really great time. And a lot of fun cameos were in the movie. And knowing just a little bit about, of course, Eurovision, as you said, helps. But highly recommending from us all.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all.
Rewatching Voyager, really fun.
Well, we're watching Star Trek Discovery, and we're
actually,
loving
Star Trek
it.
Discovery, I am super into. I think is really, really great. Everybody check that out. I think, like I enjoyed Picard, but this is different. This is different.
It's more accessible and it's new. It's new, but like it's old because it's set in the olden times, but it's new.
Again, now you're going to have a tangent.
No tangents.
I think it's crazy that Picard is like the furthest thing in the Star Trek future since like the TNG movies. That's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
That's crazy. They should do something that's new, not set in the past, aside from Picard. But yeah, that's also fun.
Okay. All right. I think that's it then. Follow us on the stuff and the things.
Yeah, we're XenaWarriorPodcast.com website, at XenaWarriorPod, Twitter, and then we're on Facebook and Tumblr and Instagram, Xena Warrior Podcast, and Patreon. You can Google Xena Warrior Podcast on there. There's links to that on the website. Download all the episodes, listen to them all over and over again. Oh, Apple Podcasts, I didn't say. That is a thing that you usually mention where you go leave reviews and ratings and things, and we enjoy getting those and reading them.
We had a fun review.
Shut up. What? No.
That was recent. Somebody really thinks that Katie's voice sounds like melted chocolate.
Thank you, whoever said that, if you're listening.
That was very good.
I think I have to amp my chocolatey voice.
Yeah.
Really?
Trying to work on it. No, that was terrible.
Only your Alana's voice is the sexiest, and we know it, okay?
So yeah, go to all those things. Cool.
The power!
The passion!
The podcast!